It's that time again. Time for me to deliver my monthly report. What I watched in May. If you're new to these kinds of videos from me, I grew up not watching movies. I either didn't have the resources or I wasn't allowed. And in adulthood, in these past few years, I've really been trying to get a horror education as well as a broader exploitation cinema education. I'm interested in the weird, obscure, the experimental, the low budget, the no budget, niche films, anything that's just kind of weird or straight up bad. I love a straight up bad movie. I'm also interested in like coming of age and Lifetime movies, but what I'm talking about here most of the time is horror or giallo, the Italian murder mystery genre. But like everyone, my movie watching path goes in some crazy random direction. So hopefully something I talk about here will pique your interest or tickle your fancy. So let's get on with it. I kicked off May with Reflections in Black from 1975. This is a giallo starring Dagmar Lassander, which is why I wanted to watch it. I watched a really poor quality upload. It just wasn't a good movie. It was just about these girls were getting murdered and the cops are trying to find out who the girls are. It's very smutty and very slow. It wasn't good. And that's the general consensus with this movie, is that it's not good. Dagmar was beautiful though. Next I watched Paranoia from 1969. Also known as Orgasmo, that's the title I prefer. This is an Umberto Lenzi giallo starring Carol Baker. I loved this movie. It was so good. Out of all of the Lenzi and Baker collaborations, I think Orgasmo is my favorite. It's about this very likable, really rich widow who makes friends with a couple of youngsters, and things get a little crazy. Speaking of getting a little crazy, this is the first time I've seen Carol Baker in that sex symbol kind of role that she's described for in her bios and stuff. This is Carol Baker being hot and sexy. It was kind of shocking because she gives off grandma energy to me. She did this well. She was sexy. I did want to mention Carol Baker talking dirty was so hilarious and so weird. What was she saying? She was like, yes, 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 yes. Dirty, 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 dirty. Or something like that. Oh, it was so bad. Please tell me someone else out there noticed Carol Baker's dirty talk. Regardless, love this movie. Would love to own it. Just very glamorous, very wealthy, and really dark. I mean, some dark things are happening. It's kind of a downward spiral situation. So that one was a win. I decided to continue with Lenzi and Carol Baker because it was all on Shudder. So next I watched So Sweet, So Perverse from 1969, starring Carol Baker and, you know what, I'm gonna give this my best shot. Jean-Louis Trintignant. How was that? This one was pretty good. I didn't like it as much as Orgasmo, but it was a good watch. I think these Lenzi late 60s Carol Baker Jolly really just partner well together. So if you get on a kick, watching them all in succession is pretty nice. I thought it was a good one. I gave it 3 stars. Next, my husband, like when we watch movies together, we alternate. So like I'll pick a movie and he'll pick a movie. I watch a lot of movies without him, but he picked Office Space, which I've never seen. I know. I've seen so many references to Office Space, you'd think I've seen it by now. It was really good. It was great. I think it was a bit too subtle. I think they could have gone a little bit harder with the anti-work sentiment, but I thought it was great. It's just like a subtle comedy and there's a lot of really relatable moments. I know Mike Judge, his style is usually a little more subtle, so I did appreciate it. It was a great movie. I'm a real woman now. Anyway, back to my choices. Next was Knife of Ice from 1972, another Lenzi Baker film. So this one was pretty interesting. It had themes of Satan, which I love. Carol Baker played a mute character, which was really interesting, and I think she did it really well. And this was just another grand, wealthy, low-key Giallo that was still really enjoyable. Next, we took it back to 1965. I watched The Possessed. This is a kind of like a pre-Giallo, but it is included on Wikipedia's Grand Master List of Jolly, and I'm just trying to watch all of those. So, The Possessed was a very atmospheric, black and white, again, another subtle sort of movie, but it's about this guy who stayed in this hotel once and he became intrigued with a girl that worked at that hotel. So a year later, he returns to the hotel hoping to see her again to find out she has been killed. He tries to figure out what exactly happened to her. I thought it was really good. I mean, it's a 60s movie. It's not the wildest thing, but beautifully shot and just a nice movie to sit in. Next, we watched Pulse from 2006, the American remake. It was just horrible. It was horrible. It wasn't good at all. Nothing made sense. They didn't explain anything. Like, the motivations of the characters weren't believable. The transitions were abrupt. It was just nonsense. I have a longer review on this movie in my Letterboxd history if you want to check out my Letterboxd. I give it 1.5 stars. Next, I took a little break from movies and I watched some shows. I watched Candy on Hulu, starring Jessica Biel. Why'd I do it? Really because I was just so amazed that they could make Jessica Biel look so ugly. And the marketing of it, the marketing made it look like it was something different than what it turned out to be. It turned out to be a very slow burning drama. It was all dragged out and showed us one side of the story so that we could take that information into the courtroom for like the final episode or two. I don't know. I didn't really like it, I guess. The early 80s aesthetic looked really good. Jessica Biel's amazing. She looked like a different person, but I just don't like shows. I don't like shows. But next, I did watch another show. Heartstopper on Netflix. This is just in the opposite direction. This is a teen love story. It's a gay love story. It is just wholesome. It is good fun. It is lighthearted. It's heartwarming. It's not difficult to watch, but it does kind of like pull on your heartstrings. It was great. I also read the graphic novels this month. My friend, he influenced me. So I loved Heartstopper, but I do like I said, I like coming of age stuff. I like a good teen drama, but I'm very picky. And something I liked about Heartstopper is that it is set in reality. It's not over dramatic. It's not fantastical like something like Euphoria or Riverdale. It is set in real reality. Actually, it might be like more of an idealized reality, because everything's going much better than it is for gay teens in real reality. But Heartstopper was great. Ah, yes. Next I watched The Killer Is Still Among Us. This was sent to me on DVD from Giallo Submarine. Thank you. So I finally got around to watching this one. This has kind of a reputation for a couple of reasons, and I'm not going to spoil anything. But the violence, it could rival some of Fulci's violent choices. And then the ending is just probably the craziest Giallo ending that I've seen. But it's definitely worth a watch for those two reasons. It's a different vibe, you know, we're in the 80s. Did I say that? This is 1986. But it still has like a traditional feel to it. I think it's on Tubi, so it's worth a watch. Next I watched Scream, Blacula Scream, aka Blacula 2, the sequel to Blacula, which I loved. It was interesting. I mean, it was good to see Mama Waldy again. I just love his character, and I love the 70s, like it's groovy, but it's also gothic because it has all those vampiric elements, and then we also added the element of voodoo into this movie, so it's just this nice blend of different elements, and it really works. This film is a little different in that there's really not an antagonist, there's really not like well, there is a mission. Okay, we do have an end goal. The protagonist does have an end goal, but you're just kind of hanging out with Mama Waldy. But I think it's great. I wish they had made a third one. I don't know. Blacula's awesome. Oh, and that was from 1973. I thought I was gonna like do everything right this time. I was gonna say the name of the movie, I was gonna say the year of the movie, and I was gonna say the synopsis of the movie. And I fell off. Oh Lord. Next, I watched Don't Deliver Us from Evil from 1971, a French film. Again, this is kind of a coming of age movie, but it's also got themes of Satan. I love both of those things. So this was great. Okay. Don't Deliver Us from Evil is about these two beautiful young teenagers who go to a Catholic boarding school, but they decide they're going to pledge themselves to Satan and go out and do evil deeds. It's awesome. They're basically like trolls. Like they're just going out and trolling. And they also like do some evil things. Okay, and I love it. I love it all. I love it all. Did I write this? The theme is perfect. The premise is perfect. The film gets a little nasty, a little grapey. I wouldn't even call that sleazy. It's just grapey. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like I could bounce back from those scenes. It wasn't as tough to bounce back because the characters themselves just brushed it off. You get what I'm saying? So I will accept those scenes as part of the larger movie because the movie is just that cool. It's not necessarily like good, but it's very aesthetically pleasing. It's got amazing actors and a really cool theme that I just love. Plus the ending is messed up. I think I would like to own that movie for sure. Next was a rewatch for me, but I made Zach watch Serial Mom from '94 because that is just wholesome fun. Then I rewatched Forbidden Photos of Lady Above Suspicion because I pretty much rewatch that every month. And next, now you guys have been mentioning this movie because every month I do like to throw in a disturbing movie. So you guys have been mentioning Audition from 1999, the Japanese film. I saw that in about 2007 and I haven't seen it again since. So was Audition disturbing? Just the ending. So this is like an elongated, slow burning movie that's almost kind of like a sad drama. I think it just went on too long, but then the ending scenes are just so cool. There's a lot of torture that you're just staring in the face. It's hard not to imagine yourself going through what the character or characters are going through. Yeah, I mean, it kind of stays with you when you're done watching it. It just feels like you're carrying something new with you. But it's beautiful. It's not something that I would watch more than once every 15 years. But it's definitely cool. I mean, I guess it would qualify in disturbing. But it's a lot of work to get to that disturbing part. It's a lot of waiting. It's like a movie of waiting, but very well done. Next was my husband's pick, and he picked a movie that I haven't seen before that every person should see, and that is The Truman Show from 1998. I hate Jim Carrey, but I was like, okay, we'll watch it. I think that despite Jim Carrey, this movie was amazing. It's so weird. First of all, what genre is this? Where does it fit? Who is the audience? Who's the target audience? I don't know. It's like an exercise in philosophy. It's like a mind fuck. I'm sure you guys all know, but it's kind of like a simulation theory kind of movie. They do such a good job of explaining everything and wrapping everything up into a neat little bow. And it really gets you thinking existential thoughts, thinking about mental illness, thinking about reality, thinking about our perceptions of reality, thinking about even religion, thinking about what it is to be alive. Am I the only person who, when I was a little kid, I was like, what if I'm the only real person? Everyone else is an actor and they're all fooling me. They're all lying to me. Great themes, paranoia, gaslighting. It's awesome. I think everybody should watch that movie. I'm really into like simulation theory, parallel universes, all that kind of stuff, just like reality theories. I like it all. So Truman Show was right up my alley. And finally, the last thing I watched this month was sent to me on DVD from Brian when I showed my big stack that he sent. A lot of you guys commented and said, watch Maniac, 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 Maniac. So Maniac from 1980. I put that in not knowing anything about it. I read on the back that Tom Savini does the gore effects, and that's pretty much all I knew. So Maniac is about this maniac who lives in New York, and he exits his purple apartment sometimes and goes and kills people at random. And sometimes he scalps them and brings the scalp back to his home and puts it on a mannequin. I'm not really sure what his deal was. I mean, he has mommy issues, of course. I'm not really sure what his deal was, like if he was dealing with dissociative identity disorder, aka multiple personalities. I'm not sure what was happening, but the gore is cool. The kills are cool. This lead actor, he is awesome. He has such a way of making you feel terrified at one moment and then the next moment feeling like, he seems like a cool guy, you know? It was kind of weird. It wasn't very heavy on the story, you know? It was more about the experience, but I thought it was cool. I'm gonna need you guys to explain a little bit more what your hype is, or maybe I just need to spend some time with it. Okay, and that is what I watched in May. I think I had a pretty productive month. Okay, if you have like a suggestion or something, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm always going to be continuing my Giallo journey until I've seen all 234 that are listed on the Wikipedia article. And of course, I'll just sprinkle a lot of everything in there. So that's all for now. See you next time. Ciao.